The Mermaid and the Dark Angel. Above the celestial sphere, amid the chorus of constellations, two angels, once luminous, were now shrouded in the shadow made by their final, fateful decision. Wormwood, whose name had once been whispered with reverence and awe, now stood at the precipice of rebellion. With eyes that held the cold fire of distant stars, he gazed upon the earth below, a sphere of blues and greens, innocent and unaware of the darkness about to befall it. "Enough of servitude," Lucifer whispered, his voice a chilling zephyr that stilled the heavenly hosts. "The time has come for our dominion. You are my first, Wormwood. Go forth and seek their conquest." Wormwood nodded, his wings, vast and ruined tapestries of what they once were, unfurled with the dreadful grace of storm clouds unfolding across the sky. And with a heart hardened by pride, he stepped into the void, descending like a comet scorned from its orbit, eager to etch his mark on the mortal world. Meanwhile, on the earthly plain, within the cradle of Africa, Yemoja, the river goddess, danced through her dominion. Her form was grace incarnate, weaving between her devotees who basked in her benevolent gaze. The river embraced her, swirling in joyous eddies around her lithe form. Fish darted like living jewels around their deity, and the humans who followed her sang praises that rippled off the water's surface. "Flow gently, my children," she crooned, her voice the lullaby of babbling brooks and cascading falls. With every gesture, she summoned life-giving currents, her touch coaxing blossoms to unfurl along the banks, her laughter inducing the very droplets to leap and sparkle in the sun's waning light. Yemoja's radiance glowed beneath the moonlight, her hair billowing around her like silken strands of night, as her garments shimmered with the myriad hues of twilight on water. She moved with the assurance of one who knows no threat, the guardian of all that is pure and pulsating with life in the sacred veins of the earth. High above, the fallen star descended, Wormwood's travels unnoticed by those ensconced in the serenity below. But even as the river goddess reveled in the adoration of her followers and the harmony of her realm, the fabric of the cosmos quivered. The first note of discord silently sounded by the rebel now cast out of paradise. And so the stage was set, the players poised, Wormwood, harbinger of desolation, and Yemoja, the embodiment of life's flow. One sought to poison, the other sought to preserve. One seeking to dominate, the other to nurture. Unseen and unheard, these two forces began their inevitable convergence, the fate of the rivers and all who depended on them hanging in the balance. A tremor rippled through the calm, a flutter of unease that brushed against Yemoja's consciousness. She stilled in the heart of the river, water swirling languidly around her form. Her gaze lifted to the heavens, piercing the shroud of night. Stars blinked back in innocent ignorance, but the river goddess felt a shadow pass, a wisp of malevolence that needled the air, corrupting the celestial peace. "Children," she whispered, voice laced with the softness of a lullaby, yet tinged with an edge of foreboding. "Return to your homes." The devotees lingered, their expressions etched with confusion, reluctant to part from the embrace of their deity. But they heeded the urgency woven within her command and departed, leaving Yemoja alone with the river. The sky pulsed, the rhythm of something sinister beating a path towards creation. With an elegance born of eternity, Yemoja rose, her figure casting a luminous silhouette against the dark cavernous of the night. Water droplets hung suspended around her, reluctant to fall away from the divine presence. And then it came. A rupture in the heavens as Wormwood tore through the fabric between these two worlds, his descent a cascade of fury and fallen grace. He alighted upon the earth with a force that sent vibrations through the soil and into the depths of the waters that were Yemoja's very essence. His ashen-hued skin absorbed the moonlight, and his tattered wings unfurled with the promise of doom. "Behold!" Wormwood's voice boomed across the landscape, resonating with the power of thunderstorms yet to be born. The hour of our corruption is here. He moved his hands, and from his fingertips unfurled tendrils of gray matter that snaked towards the river. They seethed with virulent energy, seeking the purity of Yemoja's domain to defile it utterly. As they touched the water, a hiss arose, like the sizzle of rain on hot stone, and the once crystalline rivers began to cloud with the sickening hue of decay. Earth's veins shall run black from my will, Wormwood declared, his eyes gleaming with malicious intent. And all that lives shall despair. Yemoja's heart clenched, not with fear, but with resolute determination. The waters were her children, her charge, and she would not yield them to the desecration of this dark invader. Her eyes blazed with ethereal fire, the reflection of the stars above now mirrored in their depths, rallying the light against spreading shadow. Your poison shall not prevail, she vowed, the serene majesty of her stance belied by the storm of power gathering at her core. The river goddess was awake, the tranquil surface now hinting at the tumultuous might that lay beneath. The vile tendrils of blight crept with malicious purpose into the veins of Yemoja's beloved rivers, a silent scream echoing through the waterways as purity was smothered in corruption. The river goddess felt the trembling of each droplet, a gasp of agony from the aquatic life that thrived under her tender care. It was as if the very essence of life within her domain was being strangled, the vibrant energy once surged through the rivers now waning into the shadow of Wormwood's malice. Mother of waters, the fishes whispered, their scales losing luster beneath the onslaught of darkness. Mother, we falter. Yemoja closed her eyes, drawing deeply on the connection that bound her to every ripple and wave, every stream and brook. The water responded to her call, rallying around its guardian as she prepared to defy the poison seeping into her realm. With an outstretched hand, Yemoja summoned the latent power that coursed through her divine veins. A luminous aura enveloped her, the blues and greens of life's palette swirling around her form, a stark contrast to the insidious blackness defiling her waters. Her hair, long and flowing like the river she embodied, lifted in an unseen current, weaving patterns of resistance in the very air. By the moon's gentle flow and the sun's fierce blaze, she intoned, her voice rising in a crescendo of power. By the ebb and flow of the eternal tides, I invoke the cleansing breath of the world. A surge of energy rippled outward, a pulse of such potent purity that the murky waters recoiled before it. Wherever Yemoja's healing touch passed, clarity returned. Fish leaped above the surface, shimmering once more with vitality, rejoicing in the rebirth of their sanctuary. Plants unfurled their leaves, casting off a film of corruption, the roots drinking deeply of the restored essence. Flow, my rivers, free and clear, Yemoja whispered, her heart swelling with love for all that dwelled within her aqueous embrace. Flow and forget not the strength that lies within your currents. But this battle was far from over. The dark seeds of Wormwood's spite had been sown deep, lurking beneath the surface. Yet for now the river goddess had reclaimed her domain. Her will manifests in the resurgent waters that dance once again with joy of life unmarred. The whirl of Yemoja's thoughts shattered as a shadow cast itself across the sunlit river. She turned, and there he stood, on the bank, a figure of dread, his tattered wings unfurled against the horizon like sails of doom. Wormwood the Conqueror, whose name alone could wither the purest heart. Defiler, Yemoja cried, her voice the clash of waves upon rocks. Your poison seeps no more. Ah, but you are mistaken, dear Yemoja. Wormwood sneered, his voice a serpentine hiss that slithered through the air. My work has barely begun. His eyes, dark pools of malice, gleamed with the reflection of her righteous fury. With emotion fluid as the river she commanded, Yemoja summoned the waters to her side. They rose in loyal fury, a tempest of wrath to clean the blight before her. Yet Wormwood, with a gesture of his own, fractured the air around him, dispersing her aqueous soldiers into a mist of impotence. Your power reigns before mine, he declared, the smirk on his lips a crescent of contempt. Never. Yemoja's retort was a gale, and she hurled herself at the fallen angel. Their struggle was a dance of elemental forces, her liquid grace against his infernal might. She fought to ensnare him in the tendrils of water, but he moved like the wind, elusive, mocking her efforts. For a moment they were locked in an embrace of enmity, her hands pressing against his chest, filling the cold void where once a heart of light beat. Her gaze pierced his own, a challenge unspoken but understood. It was then that Wormwood's form shivered, a mirage dissolving into smoke, and with a burst of dark energy he fled skyward, leaving behind only an echo of his disdain. "Run, coward!" Yemoja shouted after the vanishing specter, her words a thunderclap that rolled over the landscape. "But you cannot hide from the justice that will follow." Alone now, Yemoja stood among the reeds, her chest heaving with the exertion, the taste of the encounter bitter on her tongue. She gazed at the clear waters, their tranquility a stark contrast to the storm of fear and resolve brewing within her. She turned her face skyward, where the clouds whispered secrets of the world above and below. "I must tell the others," she murmured, her voice now a hushed lullaby to the trembling leaves. The battle was won, yet in the quiet aftermath, Yemoja felt the first stirrings of war that threatened all things she held sacred. "Prepare, my brethren," she called to the winds, hoping they would carry her warning to every corner of the earth. An ancient darkness rises anew, and we must rise to meet it.